I'm Dale Smith for Looney Politics, and Aaron O'Toole has been spending some time lately trying to shore up what should be safe seats in places like Alberta. Part of this is because he's already agreed to a carbon pricing mechanism as part of his environmental plan, albeit one that is far more complex and less flexible than the existing carbon pricing mechanism that the Liberals have employed, which has cost him support in the area, as well as the fact that his erstwhile ally, Jason Kenney, has also become deeply unpopular in the province. Now, O'Toole is trying to shore up that support by promising things like appointing the so-called elected senators from the would-be nominations that are happening this fall, which would be blatantly unconstitutional per the Supreme Court's reference decision. And he's also promising things like a quote-unquote equalization rebate, which is not really anything to do with equalization, but rather with fiscal stabilization. Part of the problem there, however, is that when Alberta did suffer an oil crash in 2015, both Aaron O'Toole and Jason Kenney were at the cabinet table federally, and neither decided to change the fiscal stabilization regime at the time, which would have benefited Alberta. As well, when it comes to equalization, again, Jason Kenney was at the cabinet table federally when the current formula was negotiated and did not change it, and therefore can't complain that the formula now disadvantages the province when he was the one who put it in place. Now, part of O'Toole's calculation also has to do with the fact that the Liberals quite possibly could regain the seats they lost in Alberta in the last election. This would be probably a couple of seats in Edmonton and probably a couple in Calgary as well, especially if they can convince the mayor of Edmonton, who is currently outgoing, to run for them in the next federal election. This is also why we've seen Justin Trudeau making a much more aggressive pitch to Albertans than we've seen in a very long time. There is blood in the water, and Trudeau has decided he's going to take advantage of that. This could set up for an interesting race in the province because the Conservatives will have to not only contend with the Liberals, but also with defending their right flank, probably from the Maverick Party, which are so-called Western separatists. They're being led by Jay Hill, who is a former Conservative cabinet minister and House leader. And this could see votes draining away from the Conservatives on their right flank, which would allow the Liberals to come up in several of these ridings. It's going to make for an interesting race when the election does happen, and Alberta won't be quite so settled as we've seen in the past. For Looney Politics, I'm Dale Smith.